All right. We are live on Twitch. We're recording for YouTube. And yeah, it's been a long time since I recorded a video. I think since maybe last summer. For people who don't know, I'm a school teacher, teach math, so it's really hard to do stuff during the school year, and I'm hoping to be more active. Now the school year is almost coming to an end, so I have a little bit of time to do some chess. I think one of the things that I'm thinking about here is I want to try and work on playing some longer games. I've been playing some during the school year, but mostly 3-minute, 5-minute stuff I could squeeze in with the time I had. I think I'm going to play a little bit slower and try and be a little more intentional about the learning and improving process. So that's what I'm going to think about right now. And I want to record these videos, kind of see my progress, see how much I can learn over the next few months, over the next year, see what kind of practice might make me a stronger player. And then also if anybody else is, going to be a part of the Twitch, I have no idea. My channel is minuscule, so don't expect there to be too much engagement at the moment, but maybe some folks will enjoy the videos later on YouTube, and it'll be nice to see kind of where we're starting and where we get. So my idea was that I was going to start with start the sessions with a set of puzzles, just to kind of get the brain moving. But I have a couple games with some friends, so we could take a look at those actually to start. Oh, I really got to fix this aspect here. Okay, hang on. We need to see that. That's pretty good. All right, I guess we'll do that for now. First, I have a new camera, a new microphone, and I've just started streaming again 2 days ago, but just a couple other video games, not chess. So my settings are all out of whack, and I'm just trying to remember how to. I'm glad I remembered the button for resizing this in OBS. So, all right. Does the microphone, or should this camera move a little bit? Here, maybe. All right. So here's a game I have. This is a 3-day correspondence game against Renius from Poland. We are in a strong advantage in this game. Probably we should say this is a winning advantage. Of course, we could always blow it, but I've played a couple games against Renius. We've had a couple good ones in the past. And what we just did was we were trying to figure out how to use these knights and put them in a strong position to take over the game. We're even on material, but black has this very strong pawn here, so I'm trying to undermine that pawn. That was why I played b4, traded, and black's been kind of in a bind. They haven't been able to do anything for the last, 5 or 6 moves, so I think we were well on our way to taking the dub here. So I think we're just going to take this pawn. That was my plan. Threaten a trade of the rooks. What we might have happen is that we might see rook c6 as he tries to win our c pawn back, but I will trade these, and I think that we should be fine. Although I do want to think if there's any kind of tactics we could think about here. If there's anything clever we can do to defend this. There's another world where we don't take it right away, but I'm not sure what else we would do. It's possible that we would try and get our rook to the b file, which would mean I have to play king f3 first. But if I play king f3, is there anything awkward with d3? I think that I can move, and everything being on white squares here keeps us immune from this bishop. So I may have just convinced myself to do that, because this could get awkward if we played knight here. Oh, but we do have tactics. I was just saying earlier, I wonder if there's some kind of tactic, but I see one where then we could play knight d7, and if rook takes c4, we have knight e5 check, forking the king and the rook. So that's a more subtle way to defend our c4 pawn. I think I'm convinced then that this is the best move. Because if they don't play rook c6, if we trade, this should be an easy win. We'll pick up this d4 pawn, and then that's basically black's only chance in this game. So let's hit it. Now that we have this idea of knight c4, rook c6, knight d7, threatening knight e5. All right, let's do it. All right, and then here's my other daily game. Just added PQGGER, Mr. Pogger. Shout out Pogger if you're watching the stream or watching the YouTube in the future. Pogger is one of my students, actually. We played a game in our the classroom the other day. It was a pretty fun one, where I got to send his king on a wild chase all around the board. Managed to get a pretty cool checkmate there at the end. So we're starting this one. I started with an English. I don't know anything about this opening, but that's going to be a theme. I am not super versed on my openings right now, and I would like to get into studying some of that in the next few months, maybe, as I try and improve my chess. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't know anything about. I think there's some kind of gambit that white can play, and maybe that. I think there's a gambit that white can play that's similar to this, right? Against the Sicilian, e4, c5, b4, and then you're trying to take control of the center. I imagine this is kind of like the black's version of it, but not even a gambit, because they can take it back. Now, starting with a6, I can't imagine is a great move. So yeah, do I want to trade? I could also play something like d4 and just say, hey, take me, that's fine. I could play e4 and plan to take back. And maybe white's okay with, or black's okay with that position, because then they get the bishop to b7, they can hit e4. I would probably play d3. Actually, maybe it gets awkward. If I play e4 and he plays this first, then I do not have d3. So e4 maybe is looking not great. I could just defend this with b3 and say, let's go into some kind of fianchetto system where we're both looking at big, powerful bishops across the board. But yeah, I think we have a lot of options. We could push c5. That feels like not a good option. I think that would be a bit of an overextension. But yeah, this is interesting. It's kind of crazy thing about chess, right? It's literally move 2, and we're in a position I've never seen before. I mean, I'm not a c4 player typically, but when you're playing folks, that maybe have a little less experience, you end up seeing some wacky moves that put you in interesting positions. Because surely a6 is not the best counter to c4, but there's actually a lot of rich ideas behind it, I think. So it may not be an optimal move, it may not be something you see very often, but actually pretty interesting. Now I'm coming back to kind of this idea, but I was thinking about knight c3, but then b4 is awkward. I could play here, e6, I could take this, but then he gets my e4 pawn. I don't like that. Maybe we just play it very simple with this b3. All right, let's do that. All right, so we started up with some slow, thoughtful moves in our daily chess, and this was what I wanted to do. Say, let's start with our puzzles and try and do them nice and slow and thoughtfully. Oh, and now I have to resize. It's kind of annoying that this on chess.com they have all the different systems have different sizes by just a little bit. So now it's resized for puzzles, I guess. All right, I swear I will figure out a better flow of things, a better sizing of my screen as we move on. But you know, this is my first video in a long time, so we gotta learn. Okay, here's the daily puzzle. The daily puzzles generally are on the easier side, but I think there are certain days of the week that they're more challenging. I think it's like the crossword puzzles, right? Aren't there like certain days the crossword puzzles are legendarily hard, and some days they're supposedly easy, but for someone bad at crosswords like me, even the easy days are very hard. But I'm a little better at chess than crossword puzzles, I think. So, what do we got here? When I look at a puzzle, one of the first things I like to think about is what the material state is. Maybe you could think of it as a bit of a meta hack, but if you were way down on material, like you look at a puzzle and you're down by 2 rooks, usually your strategy is to find a checkmate, because even if you win a queen, you're not necessarily even winning the game. So the closer to even the material is, the smaller stakes the puzzle might be. Smaller stakes as in it might be try to win a bishop or something like that, and not necessarily checkmate. Okay, so with that in mind, we have 3 pawns, black has 6, but the major and minor pieces are all even, but being down 3 pawns is significant. Black's king looks more secure than white's, although there is this massive dangerous diagonal. Obviously we'd have checkmate if the rook wasn't defending, so that's one of the first things that I notice. So then we can look at, and one other idea is that if we can get the queen to h8 in a defended fashion, that could be a checkmate. If I can get a rook to the back rank, that could be very powerful. But of course right now there's a lot of defenders. So where do we go from here? Also feel like I need to adjust my chair a little bit. Maybe that's a little bit better. Is that angle a little better? Okay. So yeah, this already is definitely looking like one of the harder daily puzzles. You know, another idea that quickly comes to mind is something like rook c7, but then this bishop is defending it from long ways away. Because I was thinking if there was something like this and take this, you know, and if there's trying to overwork this rook, but I don't see the potential there. Other things that are possible, we can take this knight, he'll take back, which does take one of the defenders off c8, but the queen is obviously still defending it. There's something like queen takes, but I don't think we're really threatening anything. So this is a tough one. Okay. But yeah, sometimes the name of the puzzle also gives you a clue to what it's looking for. Loose plan, tight execution. I don't know what that means though. Sometimes there's stuff like light squared mayhem or something, right? So then you immediately can that can kind of trigger an idea. So it's actually kind of annoying sometimes where it's like you don't want to look at that name of the puzzle, but it just pops up and you can't not see it. This time I tried to be pretty intentional about not looking, but it's actually a more vague title, which is nice. All right. What else is going on here? I know I said our king was a little loose, but it's actually not bad. I don't like how weak our d5 pawn is. And I don't think that just trying to defend it with knight c7 is a strong enough move, because he can take it anyway. Oh, and the bishop. There's ideas like if we played bishop here, it's a strong diagonal to try and control, but again, this rook is an excellent defender for black. We could try and boot it with knight here, but honestly, even black playing queen takes and then taking back there, I think that black's still in an advantage in that position. Well, maybe not. Okay, wait, actually I don't know if that works, because takes. Then we could take bishop, and then we actually have this nice rook check, and then the queen actually has to block because the king cannot move to g7. But if that's the solution, wow, that'd be crazy. Also, yeah, the king can just take back, so yeah, I didn't imagine that could be the right answer. What other forcing moves are there? There's takes feels the most forcing right now. And then is it something like queen c3, which threatens the back rank mate? Takes, rook block, checkmate. And on takes, queen c3, queen d5, queen c8. Like if he tries to undermine this knight, then that's checkmate on f8. That might be the move. It's the best idea I have, and we've been looking at this for a while, so let's try it. All right, we got the first move right. Okay, there's one other idea. Queen a3 also threatens bringing the queen to the back rank. I'm not super sold on that, because the queen can block there, rook can block, and that's one of the advantages of queen c3, is if this rook tries to go somewhere to deflect or to protect c8, then we have queen g7 mate. I'm thinking this is it. And there we go. We failed it. Okay, so what did we miss? Queen c3. Oh, because I was thinking about all these defensive moves, but he could actually play h5, huh? We could check the analysis board at the end. But queen here, h5 or h6. Because then check takes. We don't actually get anywhere. Crap. Well, earlier I thought about this move. But it doesn't feel like it's forcing anything. Black could even give up the exchange. What if it is this queen a3? Because that is better against this h6 or h5, because then this check, king here, and then we have rook c8, which we didn't have in the previous variation. But how do we counter queen e8? Oh, no, we don't have rook c7. It's this bishop still. I'm kind of stumped here. Daily puzzle is a tough one today. If we take here, queen takes here. Does not work. They can't do that because of rook c8. Is it just like a Zugzwang? Like black can't do anything? They could bring the bishop back or something? No, they'd probably bring the bishop back to e5. Queen takes bishop e5. Where's our threat? I don't see a threat. But queen here, queen here. If we could threaten rook c8 somehow, that would be nice, but I don't see it. Wow, I did not. I was imagining, you know, do a few puzzles at the start to get the brain going, but I did not expect to take this long on it. Let's try this. I'm stumped here. Is it queen b6? No. Oh my gosh. It's got to be queen b5. Because they can't take because rook here. They had to block, you take, they block, you take, checkmate. But then they don't have the luxury of playing something like this because their queen is hanging. Ooh, that is a nice move. Yep, alright. Wow. That was quite a puzzle. That's a nasty move, queen b5. That's a hard one to find. Wow. Okay. Let's do our couple daily puzzles. Let's see, does the picture look okay here? Yeah, it looks okay. Alright, so here's one of these puzzles where, well, not only is the puzzle man trying to tell us you can end this with checkmate, but clearly we are down 2 rooks and a piece. We must get a checkmate, and our king is in trouble. Our king looks close to getting mated too, with queen here, king here. You know, there's got to be some kind of nasty chase they can go. Queen here, maybe. King here, queen takes. Anyway, it's got to be lethal. Okay. So, most forcing move looks like queen takes f8, king here. Then we're faced with either queen here, check, king has to move back, but it looks like it might actually be better to go queen here, forcing the king back here to the same spot, but this time we have the space for knight e7 checkmate. Cool. Alright. Wow. I don't know how this puzzle level thing works, but got a couple friends here who do a lot of these puzzles. That's impressive. I'm stone 3, whatever that means. I know there's like a puzzle rating somewhere, but this seems like, I don't know what this score is. I don't know what it represents there. Okay. White to move. Yeah, again, I don't know if I like this puzzle guy telling you what to do. Because first when I look at this puzzle, like I want to be looking for checkmate, right? Looks like the king's in a tough bind. Then he says win material. So immediately, I really like the idea of knight takes g6. For a couple reasons. If he takes back with the pawn, we have queen h7 checkmate. And we're not threatening queen h8 checkmate because the queen is defending through there, but we are threatening knight e7 checkmate. We are also threatening queen takes f8. Once we take here, we're threatening queen takes f8. Not checkmate, but very powerful. We are down a piece and a pawn. So then the question is, on this, if the queen retreats here, we still have knight e7 checkmate. Knight takes, rook e8 covers the e7 square. h8 is covered. But then we have knight e7 anyway. Rook takes e7, rook c8 check. Rook blocks, take it, checkmate. So knight g6 is looking real good. Of course, this guy thinks that we don't have checkmate, which is possible. it's probably this. Knight takes, queen f6, knight e7, takes, and then we're up a queen for 2 pieces, which should be a nice winning advantage. Yep, got it. Cool. I wonder what level those puzzles are. Can I go back like this? Oh no, this is the move. Collect puzzle points. Oh, show rating? Sure. Okay. I guess we could show the timer, why not? Oops, that's a blunder by me. Can you find out how to win my knight? Well, we will figure that out. 1 second. Just gotta check the telephone. Okay, alright, what is this? Is this my puzzle rating? 3,000 something? Whatever that means. Because yeah, normally it used to just do puzzle rating. I don't know what this like stone thing is. Alright. This knight is stopping us from playing queen h2 checkmate. I'm definitely looking at bishop e4, forking the rook and the knight that is defending checkmate. It's hard to imagine that's not the best move. No, these are good puzzles, but these feel a little bit easier than normal. I feel like normally at this puzzle level, like they always feel a little bit more abstract. All right, but maybe this is where it gets abstract because takes. He has takes. If I take back, then I'm up a piece, huh? So I think that's got to be it. What if is takes better? Is there a world where takes is better? No, because then take, and then my bishop and their bishop are both under threat. So this has got to be the best one. If I go into here, do I see the puzzle rating, or is this just analysis? Just analysis. Okay. All right, can you find a way to win the rook? Let's see, we're down in exchange, and 4 pawns to 4 pawns. Oh, I think I see the idea here. So what I immediately notice is that this queen and this rook are in danger of getting forked here if this queen wasn't in the way. Then I think, well, what if I could take this with my queen? Then the king would have to take, and then I have check and fork. And I believe we can force that by playing, nope, we have to be careful. If I play here, if king here, then that tactic works. Okay, so maybe these are good level puzzles, because it's not that easy. He can't do king to anywhere else because then we take the rook, but he does have rook e2. Then what? We have knight e4 check. Can't take because it's pinned. But on king here, we might be out of steam. What if here, queen f4. King e1. Huh. The only other good check we see is here, which he has the same thing. I feel like it's got to be here. I just don't see the full continuation. Okay, now this is a good puzzle. And we have to also think he does have all these king moves, so I just figured king e1 was the most defensive. But there is a world where he plays king here also. And then what? Knight e4? Then we just win the exchange, and then we're up a pawn in the endgame. We're probably have an advantage, but I don't know if that's winning. Okay. All right, I'm not seeing it. If we took a, if this was a blitz game, we've already used up our entire time here. I think we just got to play this. Okay, well, we got it right. It's just kind of annoying that it didn't play rook e2. Is there something really obvious I'm missing on rook e2? Because yeah, we found the right idea. But let's go into the analysis board because I really want to understand that position. And interestingly, if he had played king g3 before the puzzle started, he would actually be okay. So on rook e2. Oh geez. So this is what's annoying about these puzzles sometimes. Is it plays the continuation and the style, the thing that we saw, but the computer did not play rook e2 because it's not actually queen f4. Queen f4 just leads to equality, which makes me feel better that there wasn't something I missed there. But what I missed was that knight e4 has mate in 10. Ugh, like, I'm an okay calculator, but I'm not gonna find a mate in 10. So let's just see what the engine says. Then rook e3, knight d2, and then they play king g2. That's not a human move. A human would play this. Okay, then queen f1, king g3. Okay, I'm not looking at this for a second. How do I turn this off? Okay. Let's see if we can find it from here. Even here, what is it? Queen g1? Because that forces king here. It's almost mate with this push, but not quite. Oh, was that the right move even? King h4. It was queen g1, king h4. Oh, and then you just take the rook, and you're going to have a mate in a few moves. They play queen f7, you play queen f2, king h5. I feel like this is the more natural move. We'll play king g2, king h4. What about this? Oh, we have queen h3. I see. So then you do knight check, then king here, then you take. Cool. That was a good puzzle, but those kind of frustrating spots were like that rook e2 move. I don't know. Gukesh or Magnus are going to calculate that, but I certainly don't think I have that in me. Okay. Weird position. White has all these strong pawns here, but black has these pawns all ready to promote, but we're down a bishop. He says if you look closely, there's a way to promote your pawn. Makes sense. If we push immediately, takes, it looks like a losing position because then king takes here. You're about to drop the b4 pawn, and these white pawns are going to roll you. So what do we have to find here? Some ideas. We could obviously play rook here, try and bully this bishop, but then he could defend it with the king. Other idea is b3, I think. On b3, king takes. that gets to a kind of awkward position. If we push, then this falls. If we pin the bishop to the king, then king here. Are we stuck? Okay, if this first. Oh, interesting. Wait. Okay, here. Then it's either b3 or we take. Maybe that's it. Maybe takes, pawn b3. The king can't take this because we promote. Rook here to try and block that square. Then we have b2. We have b2 and we have b2 on rook c4 as well. I think that's it. But is the other order better? Playing b3 first. King takes. Here. Oh, does that work? Because then there might be some awkwardness with this. This might be the better order. And I think that's okay because here, if he just ignores it, if he dodges with the bishop, then we just play d2. If he takes here with the rook, takes, and I don't think he can stop promotion. Hello, PP. But if he takes it with the king, so here, king takes, a very unnatural move, but it might work, because then rook blocks, but then you have rook here. Okay, I think that's it. And computer likes our first move, so that's a good sign. Now it's gotta be here, takes, oh, extra hard, neat. And say hello to my cat. This is Mari, or PP. She has many names. Okay, all right, those were our puzzles for the day. Well, my brain feels warmed up, but also exhausted from those moves already. Those are some tough puzzles. All right, so now what I was thinking was, if we go to play, oh, you can see the last thing I played was chess 960. Had some fun with that. So yeah, I was thinking about going to some standard chess and maybe playing a 10-minute game. But then there's also, do they have, you can see a little tournament, see what kind of tournaments there are. I like the system. The Lee chess one's a little bit better. So that's possible that we could go do that. We could play a chess 960 arena. Yeah, this format just, I really like the way the Lee chess shows them. Okay, but I haven't actually played a slow game in a while. Relatively slow, I should say. Not that 10-minute is super slow, but I've only been playing 3 and 5, so let's play a 10-minute game. It's been a long time. So we got Allah Ibrahim from Egypt. All right. How do I want to play against this system? What if we do something weird like f5? Because I want to get my pieces out. Kind of this stone wall system. And he allows me to play e5. Interesting. I thought he was going to play d4. Okay. So, I have no idea what this opening is, but I think it's good for me. I certainly prefer my position over my opponent's right now. I think that d4 would have been the more challenging play for them. So now there's a question, do I just castle kingside, think so. There could be a world, if it was easier to castle queenside, I think I'd go for that and then pawn storm the white king. But it's the one weakness of my position is this terrible bishop that we are going to have a bit of a hard time getting developed. Kind of like taking here, and then I think I'm going to play c6. Just solidify the center. Now this pawn is the quasi-hanging because of this pin, so I need to be aware of that. Yep, there are opponents threatening it right now. And if they take it, it would be with check. So I can't play h6 because they could take with check, then trade. So I think we're going to be going knight here, which is fine. This is a good position for this knight. Defends d5, gets the bishop open. I think we're feeling pretty good. Oh, hello, dislike fun. Your 1100 elo can totally crush you. It's true. I have definitely lost games to people at 1100 elo. Any given game, any given day. Okay, now I think we have a little opportunity. h6, only because they do have this check. They could take with the queen, but then I can take it, so the pin is not quite powerful enough, I think. Oh, but if takes, he can just take. So no, I think we gotta bunker up here. How long have you been playing chess? Dislike fun. Also, why do you dislike fun? I can't understand that. Fun seems like the thing that would be the hardest to dislike. Although I guess having a cat that's very cute is fun, and right now she has her butt in my face, so that when I'm trying to focus. So maybe that's how you could dislike fun. Alright, kind of like forcing the issue on this bishop with h6 for some reason. I don't like this pin. I want to resolve this tension here. And I kind of like takes and getting my queen active. Okay, and when they pull back, this feels fine. They're attacking our knight, but now this knight is no longer pinned, so we still have two defenders here. Their knight is kind of awkwardly placed. They could come to g6, but I'm actually not worried about that. I have rook f7. I kind of like even playing knight c4 here. I really like this, actually. Because they can't boot us with b3 because their knight's in the way. They might be looking at a knight move here. Thankfully, we have defenders of e5, so we should be okay to just play rook here. Dislike fun. You learned when you were 4 or 5. Wow, that's early. But I learned when I was like 6. But even that, like I don't know how much I really understood at that age. But that's crazy. 4 or 5 that's awesome. Good on your parents or whoever taught you at that age. Parents, grandparents, maybe. Oh, and the cat is knocking over a can. Not taking it seriously or trying to improve. Yeah, I mean, that's fine too, right? You're just playing for fun. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Alright, so threatening takes. But I don't think there's any serious threat. Can I just eat this pawn? I can take it with tempo on the queen. I don't think there's anywhere super threatening the queen goes. And if he trades me, I'm fine with that. I'm just debating, like I can boot this knight with here, but then he has tempo on me, which is annoying, so let's just take the free pawn. My dad taught me to play and would crush me until I started beating him. Yeah. Same story here. think I learned when I was 6, but then maybe by 7 I was beating my dad, and then we didn't play much, but then I started playing in tournaments, so that was how I got my fix. And then I played a lot of tournaments when I was young, but I have not played a tournament since I was probably 15 years old, so 20 years ago now. But what I really, I'm starting up the streaming in the channel again, and I really want to get back into playing at my local club. Maybe playing a tournament there if I have a chance this summer, maybe. So that's one of my goals. Play my first tournament in 20 years. See. All right, I see you just sent a message, but I'm also starting to go low on time, so I'm going to focus up for a moment here. Are you FIDE rated? No, I used to be USCF rated when I was a kid, but I have neither right now. But I will need to get a membership to one of those to play the tournaments again. Oh, I think they just gave up a fork, right? Let's do that. You went all in playing sax. Oh, that's awesome. I used to play the guitar a decent amount, but I would really, really, really love to learn to play the saxophone. That is such a fun, such a versatile, cool instrument. So that's awesome that you got to pursue that. All right. My e5 pawn is feeling a little weak. This knight is actually getting a little annoying. We're up in exchange, but this position's getting a little weird. I feel like I need to create some noise somewhere. Maybe I'll play queen here. Now, you were quite good when you were young, best player in your middle school. I thought I was the best player in my middle school, and then it turned out that Sam Shankland, current grandmaster, also went to my middle school, so he definitely was better than me. But small world. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the Northern California Bay Area, strong chess scene. Played against Sam Shankland and Daniel Naroditsky. I never played him, but I played against his older brother. But Daniel was stronger, but he was just coming onto the scene when I kind of stopped playing. So, yeah. But yeah, so I never got a chance to play against Daniel Naroditsky, sadly. But yeah, lots of strong chess in the San Francisco Bay Area. Yeah, Danya is so cool. Like, he's an incredible player, but I think he's even better as a teacher. He just has such a good way of communicating. Such a smart guy, so eloquent. So yeah, him and I think John Bartholomew are kind of my chess idols right now, because I'm not playing competitively or anything, so it's more just I love the people that are kind of spreading the love of the game, and doing a lot in the online world. Oh, what if I'd taken with the bishop first? I might have a nice little pin set up or something. Now he can just take with the knight. Maybe it's time to, no, then there's a fork. Maybe this is fine though. Knight takes, and bishop here. The only time he wasn't chill was when Kramnik accused him of cheating. But even that, for being accused by a, world top chess player of cheating when you're actually innocent, like, he handled that pretty chill as you could be, I think, in that scenario. So I still think he carried himself very well in what's about the worst kind of situation you could imagine. All right, we are way down on time, but our position looks pretty dominant here, so I should focus. The only famous player you've played is Chess Network. Oh, nice. Yeah, Chess Network's a legend. How did you play Chess Network? In a online tournament or something? Ooh, I think that's a blunder. Obviously, I can take it, but I actually have a free knight, right? Because of the pin. All right, we should be on our way to converting this to a win now. Should be over shortly. Cool. Oh, my first rapid game in a very, very long time. He wants to rematch. I kind of want to look over this game, though, and take a second to chat. Oh, you got to play, he was playing viewers. That's awesome. That's so cool when people do that. Especially, like a channel as big as his. So that's cool. 2 great, 8 best, 5 excellent. I feel like I played a really good game here.
Some good positional play let you seize the advantage in the middle game.
I did not know that the chess review thing has audio now. That's crazy. All right, wow, it gave me a 2450 rating for that game at 89% accuracy. Is that percent? I don't know if that's percent, but 89 points. I don't know. 1 miss, 1.
You missed an opportunity to kick a bishop.
Yeah, I guess we can look through this.
This move clears the way to bring their bishop into the game.
I really don't like this talking thing. Okay. So yeah, we got a cool position, I think, out of the. Let's just go to the start here. So they played knight f3, which I believe is the ready opening. Oh yeah, there it says ready is a less common but flexible opening. I trapped his queen and then blundered 3 pieces. Yeah. Then you flagged. Yep. Yeah. Thank you. I just saw the audio button, so I've turned that off now. Thank you. All right. So we played this, and then I played this wacky move f5. Clearly the computer doesn't love it, but it seemed like an interesting play because I was thinking about that I was going to play kind of like a what is this structure called? Like a stonewall structure. And I thought about setting that up against this if he's telegraphing so early in the game that he wants to fianchetto the bishop. So I was imagining playing this setup. And then I really don't. Yeah, the computer wants white to play d4, which I also thought he was going to play. And I played knight d7 specifically because I wanted to threaten e5. And he didn't counter. Okay, the computer likes c4, which makes sense. I think I would have played d4 from his position, but c4 makes a lot of sense. But you can't just let me take control of the center. It likes c4 again, which makes sense. If you're going to play d3, you have to play for either c4 or e4. You can't just give up all the play in the position. Okay, and that's good to know. The computer doesn't like me playing bishop d6. I should have kicked the pin first, because that caused me a few problems a few moves down the line. So I should have addressed it right away. So again, it wants me to play h6. Okay. So that's good to know. In this kind of structure, if they have the fianchetto, then it's always nice to kick the bishop, because they can never play bishop h4. So maybe I just need to be more aggressive about playing h6 in these positions. Okay, that's cool. It thinks this was fine. Interesting. It does not like me playing c6. So I felt like I was just building up a solid center, but maybe it's a little too weak. So it wanted me to play d5 instead. Interesting. I guess this makes sense because then I can just create a really solid center, get c5 in here, get the bishop back once he's definitely going to play knight there. But I guess this d4 pawn is really strong because it's past e4. This locks up this bishop, so it forces this bishop to become weak. And once my bishop gets out, my light squared bishop is actually going to be better than his. My dark squared bishop is hemmed in, but it's defending some crucial squares. And I guess it's not that bad. And it's more effective than this one. I see. That's interesting. Yeah, I definitely... what do you mean d4 or e4? Like my preferred opening? I don't know, honestly. I play a little bit of both. And I think that's one of the things that over the next few months, when I'm trying to play chess more, trying to get into chess a little bit more, I think I really need to start figuring out an opening repertoire that I feel solid with. Because right now I just play random stuff all the time. So sometimes e4, sometimes d4, on occasion c4, just to be weird. Just Bong Cloud. You know, I don't think I've ever played the Bong Cloud. You know, I'm playing for fun, but I'm not crazy enough. I think that I would think it was funny for a second to play that, the King E7, and then all of a sudden I would get grumpy that I was, you know, ruining my own chances of playing a solid game. So I'm trying to find solid moves while not memorizing opening lines is kind of my goal right now. So trying to learn. I'm really trying to get better at positional structures, understanding what kind of pawn structures to go for and what kind of openings. So it's good to know that, interesting that the computer gives this at +1, better for white. I'm assuming that's because my bishop is poorly placed. Because overall, I love this center, but the computer probably would call it a little bit loose. Whereas white's pretty comfortably developed. They can get their rooks going. So maybe I'm a little too loose and not developed enough. That's probably why computer gives us a +1. But yeah, definitely this that knight h4 move really felt weak to me, so makes sense. And basically white's advantage is gone after playing that move. This is a cool suggestion from the computer. I definitely did not see that, but part of the weakness of this system is how blocked up all my pieces are. And if I took it, right, the idea being here, takes queen d6, and then my position's falling apart very quickly. So that would be very heavy disadvantage by move 15. So good to know. So I think all of this comes back to my poor placement of this knight too early on d7. So, you know, all this is kind of going back to pointing to my move 4 as maybe not great. Although maybe it would have been fine if I had kicked the bishop when he went bishop g5. Then I think that would have made this knight move okay. Because you either kick it, you get the queen defending this, so then I can develop the knight. But I get a little bit too tied down, so I think this is probably what the computer is believing, that I overextended my center. So that's some good food for thought there. But I actually felt pretty comfortable in this position. Once they played knight h4, I was happy with my position. Yeah, again, the computer wants him to strike back in the center, which makes sense. Which either ends with me getting an isolated pawn, or if I push d4, I get a passed pawn, but then this e4 square becomes really vulnerable. They could even, in some variations, get control of d5 because of the pawn here and the bishop here. Yeah, so So I probably felt more comfortable in this position than I should have. Computer does not like this, probably again because of c4. Yeah. So I was not valuing this c4 break as enough of a threat to my pawn structure. Yeah. Isn't London kind of easy to do without learning a bunch of theory? Probably. I played the London was like the first opening I learned when I was a kid. My teacher taught me, I think because of that exact thing. It's like, hey, this is the structure for your pieces. You get a solid, even game, and then you just try and win from there by playing good moves. But the London is just so boring. I hate the positions that come out of the London. So, okay, so why is knight h4 weak? To me, I just don't see that it accomplishes anything. One of the things that was powerful about white's position is how much pressure he was putting on my center. So this knight on f3 was pressuring the e5 pawn, which made it harder for me to get my knight developed. So something like rook e1, even if he didn't have this clever little threat of knight c4, something like rook e1, he could put a lot of pressure on e5. And then if he forces me to push, then all of a sudden all these dark squares become very weak. So then he can bring knights around and infiltrate. This bishop becomes better. And yeah, so the knight just doesn't accomplish anything over here. I'm not scared of it. Even if it comes to f5, because I've pushed this f-pawn and gotten rid of it, it's a lot easier for me to boot the knight on f5. This bishop can just retreat. So positionally, the knight on h4 is weak. You have the classic, is knight f5 isn't a threat. No, not at all. I'm not worried about that because it's actually putting the knight in a vulnerable position because I've discovered attacks with my rook. Sorry, the cat is yelling. I wonder how audible that is on the new microphone that I got. Okay, and yeah, so knight f5, it's just a one-move threat, right? Where it's, okay, it threatens my bishop, but then I can easily retreat my bishop. I'm not going to develop this rook for a while, so that's okay. It also makes it so that whenever I move my knight, now I have a discovered attack there. So yeah, and there's obviously the classic saying, knights on the rim are dim. Mari, come here. This is Mari the cat. You can wait. There we go. Now you can get on the camera. So, you having fun, Mari? Playing on stream? All right. Chirping? Are you chirping now? All right, we can go outside later, all right? All right, let's continue. Yeah, so the computer didn't like bishop e6. It felt like a solid developing move, but again, I need to be more aware of how powerful that c4 move is. I think I wasn't doing a good enough job of thinking about what my opponent's plan would be in this position. I was just busy feeling like my position was good, which is definitely a mental weakness. But yeah, it's interesting because, yeah, that c4 move, yeah, with the knight being pinned and then this d5 square, even though it's well defended, it looks like it's not actually that well defended. Because then there's here, if the knight ever takes, then he can trade, then take here with the bishop, takes queen check, where it forks the king and the knight. So yeah, this position is definitely a lot looser than I realized. And then again, yeah, h6 now it doesn't like, because now it's a little bit late. It does weaken that g6 square. So yeah, he should have just traded. I wonder what the computer would say to do after if trade, and say I take with the rook. Actually, would it even want me to take with the rook? I like the analysis board where it gives you a few options better. I don't know about this game review system, but whatever. I'm trying to learn how to use this chess.com stuff. So I'm guessing it's queen takes just to defend g6, make this knight feel out of place here. There might be a world where I have g5 as a threat, and then back and then pin, and there's actually no good way to defend. In this case, I think they have this, but then I have knight c4, and that actually probably becomes pretty scary for white there. So makes sense that this would be a solid position, but definitely it doesn't like this at this point. Wow, and it does not like my knight c4 move. Why is that? Because of knight c5. So yeah, it continues to want me to have my queen on c7. So that's something I should be aware of. These kind of positions, I thought I had good control of c4, but I think I just did not have good enough control of c4, and I needed to value this knight c5 threat more strongly. Forking these, forking this and this. So queen c7. That makes sense. It makes sense that I should have seen that, but I love the idea of this knight being here because I have this fork, right? If he ends up with this e3 pawn, that's a very, very weak pawn. But I guess he had knight c4, c5 as the counter. I was planning on just pulling the bishop back, and then I guess because I lose this with tempo. So it's all about tactics. This is what the computers are so good at, is positional play with tactics. That's something that I need to focus on more. It's like, because every tempo counts, right? If I had like one more move to get my position solidified with the queen on c7, I'm probably in a really strong position here, but yeah. And then of course he gave me that opportunity. Computer thinks that rook here was fine. I was thinking about that capture, but I was honestly, even as strong as it would be to force him to have that weird isolated pawn, I actually love this knight. So the computer is actually okay with me not taking that also. And so instead of getting the isolated pawn, I give up that opportunity to win a pawn here. And I'm just feeling good about my position. Now the c3 pawn is weak. Yeah, and then from here it just looks like, so I just want to see if I missed any good opportunities for consolidating my advantage. f3 was a horrible move. I don't know what my opponent was thinking there. It almost feels like a mouse slip. Like what could possibly be accomplished by f3? Top right by the game review should be analysis board. Yeah, I think next time I'll use the analysis board instead of this game review. I'm not super familiar with all this, like the chess.com review system and stuff, so I'm trying to learn how it works. But I think I spend a little more time on Lichess usually, I think. But more people use chess.com, so I was thinking that if I'm recording stuff on YouTube and things, maybe I'll use chess.com. But yeah, I've used the Lichess review a little bit more. But yeah, because even f3 just doesn't make sense. Like, at least if he was trying to play f4 to center break, it would make a little more sense. Obviously, that would be a terrible move for a number of reasons. I have e4, which is strong. Although maybe that, there might be some tactics there with the pin, but obviously it still gives up this fork, which I took advantage of. All right, queen here was fine. Yeah, I was in this spot. I wasn't 100% sure how to continue for my advantage. I was like, I wanna push on c3. I was really hoping that there would be a way I could get my bishop to f5. It's just hard to do that in this position because I need to move my knight out of the way to get my bishop to f5 while it's defended, but then that weakens d5. So it was just feeling like a bit awkward. My piece positioning felt a bit awkward here, which is why I was even considering queen d7 instead of queen c7, just to be able to play this move. But But then the problem was then my e5 pawn was loose. So I guess this theme keeps coming up, is that these pawns are not as good as I thought they were. Because I'm just so tied down to this threat with this outpost on g6. So at the start, I wasn't worried about the knight coming to g6, but I did not have a good plan for addressing that knight there. But what I was really happy with was this move, was finding e5 here, or sorry, e4. Because yeah, in this position I was feeling a little bit lost, where like I couldn't get this going, I couldn't get the queen here, I couldn't find a good way to defend d5. I was thinking of playing rook here, I think. But then I saw some tactics, right? I saw this this file was looking strong. If I'm able to boot this, you know, I'm able to get this and discovered check. And so I'm actually really happy with finding this e4 move. Once I played that, I felt very comfortable in my position. And then here I was debating taking with the knight, using the discovered check right away, but I liked this idea of taking with the pawn instead, and saving that threat for later, saving the threat of the discovered attack, and getting my pawn to a more powerful position. And then yeah, going for this queen c4, forcing a trade. Computer also likes b5, which seems fine. Yeah, just good positional play there, because they obviously still can't take because of the discovered attack. Okay, and the trade was fine. I was debating between bishop d5 and bishop g4. I wonder, it gives me a small disadvantage. I mean, not disadvantage, but small inaccuracy here, playing bishop d5. This felt like the more solid defensive move. This felt like the more aggressive version. I wasn't sure if he just played h3. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, because I don't like retreating and then knight here. If I was able to plant this, I would have felt more comfortable playing bishop g4, but he has two defenders on f3, so I wonder what does the computer say here? If I played this, then like what does it do on this move? It would play bishop here. Interesting. Because then what? Knight bishop f3 next? Oh, yeah. See, this is like computer. This is computer chess. Oh, is there a way to full screen the web page? Let me see if I can make this bigger. That's pretty close to full screen, I think. How's that? All right, hopefully that's a little bit better. It's overlapping a little bit, but I think that's fine. You don't need to see that. Oh, I could even old and blind. Yeah. But yeah, this is computer chess right here. Like, who would see this continuation to be like, I'm gonna play bishop h5 to boot this, to play this rook here, threatening the knight in the pin while opening up this retreat for my bishop. That's computer chess. So I don't know if that's a reasonable thing for me to have found. So with that, chasing down that line, I'm happy with my bishop d5. So yeah, maybe I'm glad I looked at the move the computer liked, but I did not see that way deeper continuation with this pin threat. So, and I'm okay with that. I don't think I would expect myself to find that continuation right now, at least. All right, then he plays here. Obviously, I just build up the pressure. Knight there was fine. Wow. I mean, I guess this is just how lost this position is for my opponent, that it thinks that this move was okay. Because yeah, clearly this is just game over. Cool. Well, I'm really happy with that game, actually. It's nice to see that there's a lot of points that I could have played it better positionally, which is something I've been thinking about as probably my main weakness right now. Like, I think I'm decent at tactics for my level, at least. And I think that I really struggle with understanding more about like how to play the structures, how to play how to time your pawn breaks, when to play more, especially when to play a little bit more passive. I think that that's something that that I need to grow my understanding of. Is like, when do you hold a pawn move back? When do you play e6 instead of e5? And then also being aware that my opponent, right, this whole game, the computer wanted them to play this c4 break, and I just kept missing it. And if I acknowledged that as a bigger threat, I could have put my position. I could have made my position a lot stronger with the queen on c7. I was just worried about not having the queen defending the d5 square, but I was not acknowledging or understanding how big of a threat that c4 push was. Yeah, cool. I'm happy with that game. All right, so what should we do next? Oh, I got my student has replied in our correspondence game here. All right, they played e6. Seems like a fine move. Still expecting them to play duck chess. I've never played duck chess. I don't really know how it works. I think I saw a video on YouTube once of it, and I didn't understand what was going on. On e6 here, I know I'm not worried because queen here, I still have this, but then there's this that's a little awkward. So maybe it's time. Maybe it's just the right move to play. Bishop b2. Magnus 2138 says hello. Hello, Magnus. We're just playing a little bit of chess here. We did some puzzles to start the day, and then I just played a 10-minute game. A game that I'm pretty happy with. My first rapid game. You can see that all of the games I've been playing lately have been either a couple correspondence daily games I'm playing, or blitz. I played one bullet game here, and then a bit of chess 960. But yeah, my first rapid game in a really long time, and I was pretty proud of how I played. So happy with that. So now I'm deciding what comes next. Do I want to play another one? And you don't know a lot about chess? Well, you're in the right place. I also don't know a lot about chess, even though I've been playing for a very long time. So we're learning together. So do you want to know more about chess? Is that why you're here? Or do you just like the way the board looks, the way the pieces sound when they click around the board? Because that's honestly pretty nice too. But yeah, I think maybe I'll look for a 5-15-10 game, because while I'm talking, I'm trying to get into this flow of how to play chess while chatting. And our time management in that last game was pretty poor. I got a nice position, but I was way down on time. So I wonder, maybe I'll play 15-10. So a bit of an increment here. So play a little bit slower game. And this time, I want to really focus on thinking about like that positional play, thinking about how to understand what like pawn breaks my opponent might be going for. Well, that's taking some time. What is my rating range set to? Yeah, you can tell it's been a long time since I've played, or maybe I'll try 10-5. Maybe someone's playing 10-5 right now. But yeah, I want to try and really focus on finding those strong middle game concepts. So, you know, in move 8 to 15 to 20, like understanding which kind of pawn breaks I should be looking for. Yeah, it's amazing. Chess.com has millions of people, and it's still hard to find a game. Maybe more people are playing 10-minute. So yeah, I guess everyone's playing 10-minute. Okay, that means I have to play fast. I'm playing against the French. Maybe I'll play the French defense against our French opponent. Here. I have no idea how to play the French defense. So here we are. All right, let's trade. I don't know if that's good or bad. All right, the bishop's on f3. How do I want to challenge this? The Schlechter variation. I imagine that I'm just going to get some kind of simple system with pawn on c6, but this bishop gets awkward. If I can get the pawn to c6 and then e5, I'm pretty happy, but he could shut that down probably pretty easily. So I wonder if there's a world where I should be playing c5. Let's try that. The sound is really weird. Does it sound weird for you guys? Like, it sounds like every click is like doubling. I don't know why. Oh, because I have 2 tabs for some reason. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, now it's good. All right. What other kind of channels do you guys watch on Twitch if you're scrolling? I know that you've both ended up on chess, but sounds like Magnus, you're not always on chess channels. Although Magnus is a very classic chess name, of course, the greatest chess player of our era. I kind of like knight here. This bishop has been causing me some grief, and I think I can eliminate it. Or if it's forced to go back, then I can go for b6, and although that's a little bit awkward because the knight, maybe it's a6, b5. Maybe that's the way to go. Because if I play queen c7 now, he has knight b5. So let's go a6. Magnus, Kasparov, Fischer. So is that like your rankings for the different eras? Current era, Magnus, like the 90s, Kasparov, Fischer from the 60s and 70s? Or your personal top 3 favorites, favorite players? Magnus is just such a cool name too. I mean, like, it's hard to imagine being like a world chess champion with a name like John, like Smith, you know? It's like Magnus Carlsen. It's just it has some weight to it. And like Kasparov and Karpov to Kasparov, those the champions there. Spassky. I think I'm actually going to go e5 and try and get my bishop out this way. This other side feels really awkward because I didn't like here and then the knight coming in, and our queen struggles to find a good position. Okay, our time management is going a little better this time too. Maybe because our opponent is playing slower than our last opponent, which is nice. I don't like that anxiety of feeling like your opponent is out racing you, even though I know it's not rational. You should be happy if your opponent is racing their moves out because they're likely to blunder. But it definitely puts mental pressure on you. Okay, now I either have queen b6 or bishop d7. I could even go into the b5 now. I do still give up c6 square though. If I could play both of those at once, that would be great. But you know, let's go this way. Let's go queen b6. I'm expecting queen c2. So now, is it bishop here? Because I'm okay with the trade. And bishop d7 just feels weak. I feel like I want to get my rook out to the d file. And he's not going to boot my queen from here, so this is okay, because I always have queen takes. I love Neiman's awful attitude and watching him lose. Your favorite players are Magnus and Hikaru. Yeah, Hikaru, I was always a fan of Hikaru since I was young, because it was cool seeing another Japanese kid on the scene. But my old coach has, used to play against Hikaru sometimes, and at least when Hikaru was younger, he definitely had a bit of an attitude that my old teachers were not a huge fan of, but I think he's grown up a lot, as we all do. I certainly did not have a great attitude around my play when I was younger as well. But yeah, Hikaru definitely rubbed some folks the wrong way when he was younger. Is there a world where e3 is good? It's kind of fun, but I don't know if it's good. Maybe my e4 pawn is I just want to keep this e4 pawn. And bishop here. Am I worried about this pin at all? Because he could do something awkward like that. Do I have enough defenders? On that, I could play e3. It's kind of weird though, but I think I can do it. But yeah, I think on bishop f3, I think I play e3. Bishop c4, interesting. Okay, that's fine. I don't think I'm worried about that move. Now this is interesting. What about queen g4? Kind of like this. I was originally planning on queen b6, but I'm kind of convinced myself I like the queen here. Aggressive positioning, the knight can't block me out. I have tactics. If he tries to kick me with h3, I can take the bishop, which would be fun. Oh, I think that's a blunder, right? I can just take you. Sweet. That is exactly what I was trying to set up, and he fell for it. Obviously, you don't play moves expecting your opponent to blunder, but you do want to give your opponent the opportunity to make mistakes by creating tough positions. Okay, now how do we capitalize? We are definitely winning now, and I think he's in trouble even more now because I just take, right? And then if takes, then f2 falls? What's the best way for me to take advantage of this? Bishop takes first? On queen takes, trade takes. And then I'm up a rook. Or I take this now and then I'm just up a piece. Takes, king here, rook takes. Takes. What's the best way to crush this position? These are the moments where you can turn an advantage into a winning advantage if you play it right. I think you can just ignore. Kind of like this order. It probably ends up in the same spot though. What's nice is that by not forcing the issue with the trade yet, I have threats like knight f4 after king here. And I guess he could play king f2, that feels even looser. Yeah, so king there. And now I think kind of like the threat here of knight f5. Sorry, f4. That's a scary position for my opponent. Do they have to play bishop f1? Something very unhappy like that. Now how do I... The annoying thing is that bishop f1, like, X-ray defends h3, because I really wanted to play knight takes h3. So I take bishop f1. Okay, how do I finish this? I might just play conservative with g6 and just say I'm dominating this position. And I just don't want to fall for any stupid back rank stuff. This also defends a bunch of my light squares. I think I'm just gonna play this. I just don't see the mate. It's a little bit slow to try and bring the rook around, which might be what I do next, but or I could play a little more conservative, trade off the rooks. That's probably better. Rook e1. Yeah, let's just do this. Now this is fun because I'm threatening queen g2 checkmate because this bishop is pinned. So I don't think he can just ignore it. I think he probably has to trade. Okay. Queen here. Okay, the biggest thing I have to look out for is that I do not give up a perpetual. Oh no, wait, did I have a... Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Okay, I can't focus on that now. I missed something. I missed a fun tactic, but I can't focus on that. I just have to figure out how to win this game. What I was going to say is that I really have to make sure I don't give up a perpetual check draw. I think I can go here. On queen here, queen here. I have king h6, which looks ugly, but I think it's okay. Because I want to keep up the pressure. I was going to play knight back, but then queen takes, and then he wins this. And I feel like I'm losing my pressure. Any advice to help with visualization? I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I'm great at it either. But for me, it's tactics. Just doing tons of tactics and not... like making sure that I see the whole sequence of moves. Like not allowing myself to play the first move of the tactic without seeing the whole sequence. So I really force myself to see it. And you can see, like, when I'm explaining stuff here, I do use the arrows sometimes. But if I'm just doing tactics by myself, I'm trying to not use those arrows either. So I would say just making sure that you see the whole combination before you play it. So even with, like, you could start with lower level tactics than you're used to doing, but doing them, but trying to do it the whole thing in your head. So just like, do I feel comfortable? Wait, all right, let's finish this. Queen takes here. You know, say, like, do I feel comfortable calculating a mate in 2, a mate in 3? Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I don't blow this. Knight e2 is nice and aggressive, but then I'm worried about giving up a perpetual in that scenario. So I think I'm going to play the more conservative knight here, which also still threatens checkmate, but on queen here I can play back. And then on check, I think I just block with the knight, give up the mate threat, but make sure that I don't just make sure that I don't give up a dumb draw. But yeah, remember you could do it easily as a kid. Now you don't. I mean, that's what every pro player says too, right? When you start getting older, you don't calculate as well as you used to be able to. Okay, there we go. Got it. The computer liked my last game better than this one. Because last time I got, 2 blue reviews, but 12 bests, 8 excellence, 3 mistakes. This makes sense. I definitely didn't play a perfect game, but this was a good one. I'm happy with this game. All right, let's do the review. No brilliance, I know. It's really disappointing, but you know, chess.com is their review system is broken. Like I'm pretty sure if you pay them a subscription fee, they give you more brilliance. And I only use this free chess.com, so that's what I'm going to tell myself. That's why I didn't get marked brilliant. It's because it's a pay-to-win system. Okay, yeah, so I had a lower accuracy than last game, but it actually gave me a pretty high game rating. I had a few misses, few mistakes. Okay, so this time, chess pay to win. Yeah, exactly. It's all a scam. It's all a scam. Okay, so I'm gonna look at the Actually, what I do want to see is the. Oh yeah, it was just this. That was what I wanted to see. And that was where our opponent blundered the bishop, I assume. Okay, let's go to the analysis instead, which we learned from last time. All right, so we played our French defense against our French opponent. And they played this interesting variation with the bishop d3, which, I mean, I must have seen it at some point before, but I have no idea what you're supposed to play against bishop d3. It just seemed like a good opportunity to get a different position than I normally do out of a French, because honestly, I don't even like the French system. I literally just played it because my opponent has a French flag. So you can see I don't have an organized opening system. Do I follow any high-level tournaments? No, not really. I mean, I just don't have time. I barely have time to play any games of my own. So, you know, I follow like the chess subreddit. So I see, you know, basic updates there. And so like during the World Championship and stuff, I was following the World Championship, but that's about it. We got Psy Toes with a lot of Hi Buddy Fred. That is great. Hello Psy Toes. And Sweaty Piranha is raiding with a party of 5. Hi Buddy Fred, hi Buddy Fred. Sweaty Piranha, thank you for raiding. That's the first time a raid has ever happened on my stream, I believe. So that's awesome. Thank you very much. And yeah, bringing 5 viewers maybe. This is huge. I mean, you just made history, Sweaty Piranha. I hope you realize. This is Buddy Fred's very first raid of all time. So, you know, I think historians are writing about this moment already. Huge. So, Sweaty Piranha, who are you? What do you do? Do you play chess? Is this a chess channel? And how did you find me? Time to crack open some whiskey. When Buddy Fred becomes the biggest streamer, Sweaty Piranha will be legendary. Well, I think that you know, I had one viewer, and you brought me you know, it said you raided with 5 people. I have no idea if they actually made it over, but played some goofy chess games. Awesome. Yeah, we've been playing a little bit you know, serious-ish chess, I would say. As serious as I play. As I was just talking about, we just played the French defense against our opponent, literally because they said France in their name up here. But I have literally no idea how to play the French defense. But we got a nice win, so We've played 2 rapid games, 2 wins for my first rapid games I've played in probably since last summer. So never play the French again. All right, you got it, Saitos. As long as I don't play anybody with a French flag, I will never play the French again. Now, the real question is, when is there going to be a Japan defense? Because my flag is Japan here. So what do you play, Saitos? Against e4, what do you play? Sicilian defense, great. Yeah, I really want to learn the Sicilian properly. I play it sometimes. I think I play evenly Sicilian and e5, and honestly I don't feel comfortable in either one, but yeah, you play e4, e5. Yeah, when I was a kid, I played the Petrov defense, e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6, but you get really drawish positions out of it. And you know, I know some high level players play it, like Fabiano I think plays the Petrovs sometimes. Petrovs is corny, yeah. It's kind of like the black version of the London. It's just boring and drawish, right? Yeah, there's so many possibilities. The Halloween Gambit. I don't actually know what the Halloween Gambit is. Halloween Gambit. Oh god. e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, knight c3, knight f6, knight takes e5. Wow. That I think we need a grudge match of wait, who's trashing on Halloween Gambit? Yeah, so Saitos versus Sweaty Piranha. I think you two need to play each other in a Halloween Gambit. I mean, you say Halloween Gambit should never be played above 1,000 elo, but wasn't there a whole stream like sequence where Hikaru was like giving up a queen and beating like 2100s? So I'm pretty sure Hikaru could play the Halloween Gambit and beat like IMs. I main it and I win all the time. Yeah, the Botez. Yeah, that's what it was called. I forgot. That's what it was. Your opponents are all stupid. Yeah. That's the thing, though. Like, we are all choosing to spend our Saturday playing chess here. You have to be some level of stupid to do that, right? And no matter what your rating is, there's somebody out there that could sacrifice their queen against you on move 3 and still beat you. So, like, I am certain that Hikaru or Magnus, yeah, they would they could play the game without a queen and probably beat me. And I'm a decent player. I only watched Sweaty Piranha play chess because I saw a clip of him trashing on somebody, so I had to stop in. So you had to come in to trash the Halloween Gambit? I think you got to do it. You got to put up your money on it. You got to challenge. Now we need to see if we can get a game and play that. All right, but let's do it in something more silly. Let's go to let's see if we can play a custom challenge. I want to play as white. Wait, how do I do that? Can I do that? I don't know. All right, here's what we're gonna do. If I get white, we're gonna try to Halloween Gambit this, since I've never seen this before. Oh man, Caro. Not even Caro, some kind of hedgehog nonsense. All right. All right, now I've gotten sucked into playing Bullet somehow. I was just hoping to get this silly gambit. All right. All right, what are we doing in this game? Putting some pressure on. Oh wait, no, I want to take this. Got our knight in a good spot. Cycle the other knight to. Oh, don't want to give up my queen. I'm considering giving up the exchange here. What even is my bullet rating? I'm playing at, I'm at 2,000. Oh crap! He hung that pawn. I'm dumb. Let's try to get b5 in. Oh crap! I think I'm screwing up here. Knight takes. Oh, interesting. Sacking exchange. Knight takes. Let's play this. I need to watch out for e4. What do I want to do? I'm threatening taking now. And we're winning on time. Let's pin that rook. Oh, yep, we got this now. Haha. Game over. As long as I don't let myself get promoted on. Alright, I think our opponent's giving up now. Our Irish opponent here. Alright, well, we didn't get to play the Halloween Gambit, sadly. But, hey, we won a bullet game. That was cool. And apparently my bullet rating is 2,069. Nice. Alright. Bomb cloud. You can't choose sides. Oh, like I can't choose to play a game as white. That is what the deal was. Okay. Caro's boring as hell. Well, they didn't end up playing the Caro, right? They played a hedgehoggy thing. The only valid against d4 is the England. England. That sounds familiar, but I don't remember what that is. England. Oh, England Gambit. What is the England Gambit? d4, e5. I don't think I've ever seen this played before. You're going to head out. Well, Sweaty Piranha, thank you for stopping in and saying hi. Enjoy the gambits. And definitely, you know, don't let anyone tell you that gambits are garbage. Gambits forever. Bullet makes me feel like I need an illicit drug to keep up. True, but your opponent also needs an illicit drug to keep up. So until you get to the ratings where you need Adderall or something more illegal, then you know, you just enjoy it. Maybe the bullet is the drug itself, right? GG's. Halloween Gambit is called that because it spooks yourself because it sucks. Okay, that's pretty good trash talk. That's good. Saito's your that's a great comment. Listen, 600 elo is no joke. Well, I cannot play that fast time. And it's not even it's not even an age thing either, right? Like people like to say that, oh, you got to be young to play bullet, but you know, it's really, bullet really is testing your knowledge of opening theory, and it's not just a click race. And I know that because, you know, a lot of my students, I teach high school for folks that didn't hear the very start of the stream, but I teach high school math, and a bunch of my kids will be playing like bullet chess in class sometimes, or like during breaks and stuff, and they are terrible, even though they're very fast. Which high school math class do you take? I don't take a class, I teach a class. I teach 10th grade math, which is not a particular subject at my school. We do integrated math, which means that I teach some algebra, I teach quadratics, I teach some probability. That was the unit we just did. And some statistics, so like some data analysis. So yeah, the algebra we do is kind of like Algebra 2, where we just go up to like quadratics, but we do a lot of projects at my school, so it's a project-based learning school. So like when we were doing quadratics, we studied projectile motion, and we built rockets and went and launched them. We like modeled them in a computer program. I'm an accountant, So the limit of knowledge, math knowledge ends at calc. That stuff makes no sense to me. You mean you know calc, or that calculus is where you feel like you get lost? That sounds like physics, not math. Absolutely. I think that for me, some of my favorite applications of math are physics. Calculus is your brick wall. Yeah. So calculus, I swear to you, it's actually not as scary as it sounds. Like, people build up calculus to be this crazy, difficult thing. But honestly, I think some stuff in like advanced trigonometry is worse than calculus. Calculus is so powerful when you can, like, it's the graphing that you can do to understand it is really nice. Like thinking about how derivatives and integrals work. It's a little more intuitive than something like, understanding the Euler's identity or something in trig. I took it in high school and then I had to take it twice in college because you couldn't understand it. Yeah, I mean, I think like any subject, it really depends on what your teacher, how your teacher teaches it. I honestly did not love my calculus classes when I was in high school. And then, but then I learned calculus well from my physics classes when I started taking more advanced physics. So for me, at least, I felt like the application of physics made the calculus make way more sense. And then I ended up using it a lot more. So you said you're in accounting. In finance, there's a lot of applications of calculus that are actually pretty intuitive, because you can think about graphing functions for like optimization for profits, and you can, with some simple quadratic equations and using derivatives, you can calculate like, hey, this is the optimal quantity to produce of some good, or this is the price that I should charge at if I'm a monopoly, or if I'm in an equilibrium market, this is the marginal cost curve. This is the, these are all the things that all the variables I want to look at. So I think maybe if you studied it with an application on like finance, because it sounds like your experience is more in finance, I bet you would understand it better than if it was just like weird, funky graphs of like fourth derivatives of weird polynomials. Yeah, so Saito's says calculus is low-key light work. What's your background in math, Saito's? Euler's identity is easy to understand if you understand calc. Derivative in the complex plane is always perpendicular to the radius. Is this just for one of the proofs? Because I know there's like 5 different proofs or something of your Euler's identity. I remember going through the calc one with one of my students last year, but there's others too. So I don't think this is the one I remember, but it's been a long time. I had to review it last year, and I haven't thought about it since then, to be honest. Okay, you just finished up Calc BC as a junior, easy A every quarter. You just took your AP test then, huh? Look at Newton over there. Yeah, well, Newton, unfortunately, Newton didn't have the advantage of having it as a class. Newton had to invent it. Although, then you could say, well, Leibniz invented it, but they both did, really. But yeah, does that mean, Saito's, is your semester over? Are you on summer break already? If so, you're lucky. I still have 3 more weeks to teach. But I remember in high school, like when we in calculus, after the AP test, there was just like a month of school that was just a complete joke. It was like we did all kinds of fun stuff. We made movies. We did all kinds of silly stuff. 3 days left of school. Yeah, barely do anything. Okay, forgot to drink. Oh yeah, you said something about grabbing your whiskey earlier, right? Dislike fun. What's your whiskey of choice? If you're an accountant, you're bourbon man? No, maybe rye. Maybe you're a rye. Actually, I don't know where you're located though. Are you in the U.S. or not? And while Saito's might be pretty comfortable with the math, Saito definitely is not old enough to be a whiskey connoisseur. So we definitely have that advantage over the youth. East Coast, nice. Where on the East Coast? I was just in New York City last weekend for a wedding, but I live in California. New Jersey, outside Philly, nice. Wait, I need to look at a map because I don't know Jersey very well. My buddy that I met up with over there, he lives in Jersey, but he lives in Hoboken, so right by New York. But I see, the Philly side is the middle west side. That's cool. Tullamore Dew and JD. Well, I don't know Tullamore Dew, but I assume JD is Jack. I'm not a whiskey expert, but I have been trying to enjoy a little bit of Scotch here and there. So I got myself a bottle for my birthday a couple months ago for my 35th birthday. Got a bottle of not Lagavulin. I got Lafroig. I was just talking to my boss about Lagavulin the other day, but got a bottle of Lafroig, and it is it's enjoyable, but it is intense. Tula is Irish whiskey. Ah, okay. All right, Saito's is taking notes for how many years in the future when you turn 21? Yeah, Lagavulin is Nick Offerman's jam. Yeah, absolutely. Or at least, what's his face in his character in Parks and Rec. Although I imagine he himself enjoys it too. But yeah, my boss went and did the tour at the actual distillery out there in Scotland on that island. I'm not going to become an alcoholic. See, that's the thing, is that if you find some nice drinks that are flavorful and interesting, you actually can just like enjoy one and not be an alcoholic. You don't have to drink huge quantities, and you can just have like a nice bottle and you can enjoy it over the course of a year. Which you'll learn. You'll go to college and there will be people who will not do that responsibly, and they will ruin their lives doing so. So yeah, you can definitely learn to enjoy it, and also learn to control it and not be not have a problem. But yeah, it's not an easy thing to learn for a young person. And I certainly had, and I'm sure Dislike Fun also had friends in college who, struggled with that. Drinking a fifth a night for 3 years. Yep, that'll do it. What helped you? What made you change? Or, was it a health scare, or, or did your friends talk to you, or? So yeah, usually there's some kind of event where you realize that life can't keep going the way it's going. Got sick of feeling like garbage every day. Yeah, totally. So, did you say when that was? But yeah, it's interesting. But you didn't feel like you had to go completely cold turkey. Like you can still have a little bit of whiskey here and there, and you're not worried about it. Yeah, that makes sense. Take that time. I want to look sexy, so I try to take care of my body. Yeah, that's a good goal. That's a great goal. You know, definitely take care of your body, especially when you're young. You know, you set habits when you're young, and then you'll be set. And then you'll go crazy because you'll go to you'll go to a softball game that your friends are putting on or something, and there'll be somebody there who's just like an athletic freak, and then they're drinking drinking a 12-pack and knock it all down, and you're just like, what the hell? How are you like that in shape and that athletic, and you just drank like 12 beers and you're still like insane, you know? Why have a 6-pack when you can have a 12-pack? Exactly. I should specify the 12-pack I meant was a beer. So they will have a 6-pack while drinking a 12-pack, or while throwing down the liquor, and then you're just like, man, that's crazy. All right, since we're just kind of hanging out and chatting, I think I'll just throw on a little bit of blitz here, but not take it too seriously. Got to pregame the 6-pack with the 12-pack. All right, here's a Sicilian for you. Interesting. I don't know what the deal is with this. Pregame the 6-pack with the 12-pack. That's a quote for the ages. These young kids, they don't know. Interesting. I kind of like this D4 move now. Ooh, that's a blunder. I'm playing too fast. Not paying enough attention. Yes, I have indeed had the original Four Loko. I was in college when they officially banned it, and so then there was a big party where the liquor store was selling the last of the original Four Lokos, and so everyone went to go buy them out, and it was a rough night. For Saitos, you are lucky that this jet fuel alcohol mixture is no longer in service. Yeah, you were also in college. Did you also went to school in the East Coast? Oh, Jesus. 4 Four Lokos for a person. Did anyone ever succeed at drinking 4 Four Lokos and not blacking out? That is... I mean, the only thing that would keep you from blacking out is the caffeine and the sugar. Ugh. It's making me cringe. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. Fraternity life. So Saitos, you're gonna go to an academic fraternity, right? One of the ones where it makes sure that you learn the classics and you study really hard, right? I went to school an hour north of Pittsburgh. I see. Yeah, I don't know any of the schools out there, so I could not tell you what school that is, but sounds cool. You don't know what a fraternity is, Saitos? Oh, a small private college. All right, this is a little bit scary, this position. I think I just get greedy here. All I know about fraternity is big buff guys named James go there and get laid 24/7. Yeah, that sounds accurate. All right, I think I'm gonna take this and then sacrifice my knight back. Yeah, so some fraternities are going to be like that, where it's all about partying and being crazy. Parties are well stocked with bottom barrel. Yeah. How many of those plastic bottle vodka handles were you rocking at any time for the jungle juice? But yeah, there's also fraternities. Yep, only the plastic. Yep. There's also fraternities that are very academic focused, around a theme like international business or things like that. All right, and our opponent here, friend, very nice of them to give me 2 free rooks. Nice. Hey, I got a exclamation mark this time. So dislike fun. Here you go. Drink to that. Oh, I only get 1 review per game. Oh, great is not brilliant? Oh, dang it. Never mind. And I didn't pay for chess.com premium, so I can't even figure out which one it thought was great. You can review the game. All right, feel free to, if you pull it up, you'll see brilliant, and it's a move you memorized in the opening. Nice. What is it, PP? Are you saying hi? Are you saying hi to the people? Saying hi to our friends on the stream? My opponent had a brilliant move, really? Wait, which move was brilliant? It was probably knight f6, huh? This one? Yeah. Yep, called it. Was my response all right though? Like, oh, the computer likes. Yeah, my response is actually okay of taking it and then sacrificing the knight back. My great move was knight b3. Oh, really? I mean, this move was fine, but I don't know why that would give it a great. You know, it's like, that's why those like computer generated reviews are weird, because it's like, obviously there's no way obviously I played knight a5. There's only one reason, and it's to get the knight to b3, and it's not like he's gonna play knight d2 to counter it. So like, how is this a great move? I don't know. I guess so. It's like, what is the qualifications of a great move? Is it like any other move would have given you a disadvantage? So it's like, obviously I had to play this move. Is that the idea? Yeah, a great move is the only good move. Yeah, okay. Because it's like, there's obviously, in this position, I was never going to play anything that wasn't knight b3. So, I wonder if taking might not have been a good move. But I liked it because it gave me this push. Because I needed to create some counterplay. Because obviously he's dominating the king side, so I needed to either blow up the center, which is a little blocked up, or play on the queen side. So I felt like I had to do this. Oh, I see. And then he gets a brilliant for this move because not only is it a knight sacrifice, but it's also the only good move in the position. But I sacrificed back. And then he just blew it. So from this position, yeah, I was definitely worse here. I'm up a pawn, but obviously this structure is worth way more than the pawn that I'm up. But it's kind of hard for white to figure out how to finish the attack here. And I'm starting to create a lot of play on the queen side. I'm going to get my rooks out. Saito's 1500. Nice. Cool. That was a fun game. Let's fire up another one. Look at y'all being good at math and chess. If you're an accountant, you have to be pretty good at math. Just because you didn't take calculus doesn't mean you're not good at math, or that like calculus didn't do it for you. Yeah, I have some students who are really smart. They might never take calculus. They might become an artist or something, you know. But doesn't mean they're not super smart. All right, who are we playing? Somebody from Ireland, Bookidget. All right, do I play super greedy here? Yeah, let's do it. Let's play. We're playing blitz. Let's be a little crazy. I'm just going to be slow and careful with rapid 10-minute. But I'm fine being a little crazy here. I feel like I need to play this first so he doesn't have knight b5. I'm good at math, but not what I would consider advanced math. My expertise in accounting is greatly benefited by spreadsheets and software doing the math for me. Right, but it's like, so you're probably smart in like thinking about data structures. Like how's my data organized? What's on my balance sheet? You know, you have to know the ins and outs of all your variables. And you know, if you're doing spreadsheets, like how well can you write formulas in Excel that handle the operations you need, right? So like that's a whole different set of skills. All right, our opponent is ramping up the pressure here. Maybe I should castle. I'm probably okay to castle here. There you go. Forecasting budgets for government contracts. Awesome. Wait, what kind of business are you in? Government contracts for what? Data analysis sounds so boring. Math is fun because there's problems with elegant solutions. They're basically like puzzles. My counter argument, because I think data analysis is awesome, is that a lot of data analysis is a puzzle. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to untangle from a whole web of variables, like which variables are the most important. And it can be for things like solving real world problems, right? About like, if you look at what Dislike is Fun is doing, you know, government contracts, like what variables do you have to think about for certain businesses? Like, are they more constrained on the payroll side? Are they having trouble with, you know, is it like funding side, grants? You know, I don't know what part of what contracts you're working on or what you're doing there, but it's a whole web of variables, right? Should you expand? Should you, you know, should you just tighten up your operations as is? There's so many different questions that you have to ask that you use data analysis to solve. And if you think about enough variables, it can be very powerful and elegant. But I'm a, you know, data analysis stan, so, you know, I'm definitely biased. But yeah, that's super cool. Contracts for nonprofits. So like, does that mean like for grants, and then you will, like the contracts will be for the terms of accepting grant money or something like that? I don't know a ton about that world, but my wife has done some work on nonprofits and grant work. That's pretty close. Cool. Nice. All right, what's going on in our game here? They sacrificed that piece, and I think we solidified our defense. Let's swing the queen over. And my other job is saying no to a bunch of people who want money. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's really important. You got to put the money in the right place. Oh, crap, why did I just hang the pawn? That was stupid. But yeah, can't be handing government money out willy-nilly, right? As much as the federal government might wish it did, it does not grow on trees. I feel like I need to trade queens. Oh crap, that would hang my rook. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing in this position. It's like I'm up. I definitely better, but I don't have a plan. I'm struggling to find a plan here. I've been drinking too much whiskey, or just like fun. I have drank 0 whiskey. Maybe I can bully Squeen a little bit. I've worked at 3 nonprofits, and honestly, it doesn't look closely at all at the expenses. Yeah. State and private. Oh, really? That's fascinating. Okay. What am I doing in this position? Okay, maybe I can go here and rook d7. I really got to get this queen booted. Wait, does this trap the queen? Oh, frick, but he has this one. Wait, maybe that's okay. If here I take, then takes, and then that's got to be winning. We trapped their queen. All right. Oh wait, the even easier one is rook here. I just take. We're up a rook. Should be an easy win from there, as long as I don't lose on time. But I'm actually up on time for the first time today, I think. That does not seem like the best way to do it. I guess he's gonna go there. I'll take this. Hey, I got 4 greats, 10 best, and 1 excellent. Wait, is excellent better than great, or is great better than excellent? You guys know better than me. And man, we're on a roll today. We've been just winning games. Great, best, excellent, good. Man, that just feels like too many different terms. Like, is it just some algorithm that says, okay, if your centipon gain of the move is, you know, plus 0.6, it's great, or that other move where it said it was great, but it was because the alternatives were like -3, and that one was like probably 0, and then 10 best. I live for misses in the game review, basically GM at misses. Yeah, well, Sadly, we can't look at the game. Well, I can't look at the game review because I'm a cheapskate who does not pay for premium. But I suppose I can outsource it to our government nonprofit contract expert. Check your previous game. Can you look at the game review since I reviewed it? That's a great question. Let's find out. Can I go to the review now because you reviewed it? Oh, interesting. So is this available to me now because you looked at it? Whoa. Okay, that's really cool. I did not know that. Also, I just got a friend request. Is that one of you too? How do I even see that? Here we go. Midnight Mania. Cool. Profile. Here we go. Here's... Oh, crap. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call. I'm going to mute All right, sorry about that. A very rare phone call. Yeah, who even calls on the phone anymore? But I was supposed to go paddleboarding, but the weather is crap. So my buddy was saying, let's do something else instead of paddleboarding. So I'm actually gonna have to wrap up here in a couple minutes. But ooh, math and teaching. It does sound like bar time, exactly. My buddy was like, "Hey, let's go grab some food and catch the Yankees and Dodgers game." So, I think we're gonna do that. But don't need to leave quite yet. Yeah, see, we're gonna go to Yankees and Dodgers to boo them both, because I'm in San Diego, so this is Padres territory. But my team is actually the Giants. I'm from the Bay Area, so I suppose I hate the Dodgers more than the Yankees. But I'll boo them both with you. Phillies, nice. The Philadelphia Bryce Harpers. I don't even know who's on the Phillies anymore. I assume Bryce Harper's still there, though. I think, you have Rhys Hoskins and stuff still, too? I don't even know who pitches. I know you guys let Trey Turner go. Oh, Rhys left. So, Saito, you want to study math, like theoretical math, it sounds like? I had one buddy who studied that in college. Yeah, pure math. Yeah, it sounds like you're more about the elegance of the beauty of math than applied practical stuff, which is cool. I have a buddy who the third body problem. Yeah. And Saitos will say, remember that day that I got inspired in Buddy Fred's chat by Dislike Fun. Yeah, pure math. That's awesome. And then you want to teach that? I feel like you could do, if you want to do math like that, you could do a math PhD and then be a math professor or something. Is that your goal? I have a buddy, maybe a year or two ago, he finished his master's in math, studying like toroidal objects or something about torus things and studying some properties of it or something. High school teacher? Well, nice. Certainly hang out in this channel then whenever we're live, because if you ever want to ask about high school teaching, I'm currently doing it. But I'm also not going back next year, so maybe I'm not a good person to talk to. And I'm going to go back to working in an industry job. So being a high school teacher is really, really great sometimes and really, really terrible sometimes, as I'm sure you can imagine. George Cantor, who is this? Set theory. That's some pretty crazy math for somebody who says they don't like math to be into. The existence of an infinity of infinities. Interesting. Yeah, this is math well beyond anything I can comprehend. I'm very much in the practical applied realm. His life story is fascinating and tragic. see, what happened to George Cantor? So super successful, super genius, but then started battling depression and started getting into philosophy, went to a sanatorium or something. Dang. And then his passion for mathematics was drained. Dang. Repeatedly confined to various sanatoria. That's tough. Common thread with those that work with Infinity. Yeah, I think that it's a common thread with anybody, not just Infinity, but like the people that work in those super abstract spaces. I feel like you have to have, your brain has to work a certain way, and that way feels like it's often incompatible with the normal functioning of human society. Which is really tough. Dangerous ideas. Interesting. Okay. Higher level of any profession, insanity is the only way to break through and find new ideas. Yeah, you have to be a thinker who thinks, you know, in some tangential way to the mainstream, somebody that can discover the new ideas. It's definitely true. And so, you know, does it necessitate insanity? That just depends on how you define insanity, right? But you certainly have to be able to think in a way that's, you could say, orthogonal to the most common thought, and that people that can do that or might find themselves trapped in it maybe, or they can only do that, and then makes it really hard to do things like pay your rent on time, pay your taxes, have a mortgage, have a normal family. Too much dull structure to life for somebody that lives in that kind of realm, I feel like. Because it's not just math too, right? It's like I just don't comprehend it. Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel. I'm like, I want these geniuses people to make like crazy YouTube videos so that I can try and learn, you know, like three blue, one brown on YouTube, where it's like he's a total math genius, but he's really good at explaining it too, and so, you know, it gives you a little slice of that radical thinking. Yeah, I love that stuff. All right, but anyway, I have to get going because I'm meeting up with my buddy. So thank you for hanging out, and thank you for following on Twitch. And I saw we're now chess.com friends too, so you know, send me if you ever want to play online, let me know. And you enjoy your night. You know, you said you got a nice night off from the girlfriend and the son, so enjoy a little bit of freedom. Play daily. As in, like, would I play a daily game, correspondence? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, send me a challenge. If you're asking if I'm online daily, then no. I will definitely be on as much as I can, though. I'm trying to stream more, trying to record some stuff for YouTube. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, let's play a correspondence game. And Saitos, good luck. Enjoy the last few days of your school semester. I hope you crushed your AP test. I assume that you did. You sound like you know what you're doing. So I assume that BC test was light work. And I hope you end up studying some crazy math in the future. Keep me updated if you come back to this chat. All right, later, folks.